I want my kids to experience all the wonderful things our beautiful world has to offer. So when I heard they could learn about the butterfly life cycle up close and at home, I knew I had to check out Insect Lure's Butterfly Garden. This all-in-one kit lets your child hold the wonder of metamorphosis in the palm of their hand. Watch your butterflies grow, then let them go. Head to insectlore.com to try this unforgettable experience. That's insect, INSECT, lore, LORE.com. Insectlore.com.
When you stay at a Verbo, you always get the whole home. Not part of it, but the whole upstairs, the whole downstairs, the whole fridge, the whole backyard, and the whole nap room. Because is it really a vacation home if you have to share it with a host? Only whole vacation homes, always all yours. Book on the Verbo app.
Hello and welcome back to the Shamrock Sportscast. I am Sam.
My name is Evan Cummings.
And I'm Adrian. Surprise.
Special guest Adrian Wolf will be here today to talk some sports with us. It's going to be a fun day. We have a fun, unique little idea for you guys. But Evan, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I've been with the baseball team a lot. I also did some softball in the last week. Both teams which have been pretty successful. One of them more successful than the others. But I'm just ready to have another great podcast, Sam.
So it's been a tough week for the baseball team.
It has.
And you've been with them every step of the way.
Yes, I have.
Can you kind of fill us in on what the pulse is like for the team right now?
So we are currently on a 3-game losing streak. I know that's something that no one wants to hear, but since we last podcasted, we actually won 2 games in a row. We beat Cathedral at home 6-5, which was a very impressive win. It was something that it was a resume builder for sure. We followed that with the first game of the Brownsburg series was a win 7-0 at Brownsburg. I know Ty Anderson pitched a gem in that one. And then Friday, we had a little bit of a weird pitching situation where we started Colin Lindsay in the first inning, and then Preston Tam came in. Or was it Preston? I think it was. It was either Preston or Nana. Regardless, it was a good game pitching-wise, but we could not get the offense going. And you'll kind of start to see that trend in these next couple of games that we're about to talk about. We lost that game 2-1. Monday against Carmel, arguably our worst game of the season, definitely our worst game of the season by far. The pitching wasn't there, the offense wasn't there. We just did not play good at all, and we lost 19-2, and that's all I really want to say about that. And then yesterday, Wednesday's game, the first game of the Fisher series, we lost 10-0 in a run rule. Jack Brown was just a little too much for us on the mound and at the plate. He had a leadoff, or not a leadoff, well, his first AB was a home run, and then he kind of never looked back. I believe he went 3 for 3 on the day. So that was just a really frustrating loss. And tonight we play the second game of the Fisher series. The series as a whole got moved up one day because of, like, we are doomed tomorrow for weather. I don't think any outdoor sporting events are going to be played. And then, Saturday we play home at Newcastle. It says away on MaxPreps, but it's home.
Okay. Well, that'll be a good opportunity for the boys to sort of right the ship. Obviously, it's never fun playing against the best competition. It's never fun. Obviously, you have to do it, and, that's how you gauge yourself against the best teams in the state. But, with the emergence of Carmel this year, and think about it, too. Last year, we put an absolute beatdown on the Greyhounds, and you have to at least think that motivation may have helped Carmel, want to give it right back to us this year.
I talked to
certainly
Evan,
was the case.
Yeah, I talked to Evan Russ this year. After the game, he was like, "I don't know why everyone's surprised. This happens every year. It just flip flops every year because obviously this year we lost 19-2. Last year we won 19-1, and I believe our sophomore year we got blown out by Carmel. So that's a trend that I don't necessarily like. I don't think anyone really likes that a whole lot, but it's just something that happens between two very bitter rivals.
So how about softball?
Softball. Oh, let me check. I'm not prepared this morning, guys. I apologize. Also, shout out Aiden. I don't know why he's just not here this morning.
Got a text at 1:19 a.m. that Aiden would not be here today, which is good. We endorse it wherever he is at. But yeah, like I said, we have a fun little idea planned in a little bit. But while you look at softball, I'll talk a little bit about golf.
Yes.
Yeah, so back to last week, played HSC. Everyone played pretty solid. It was a little shaky down the stretch. Ended up getting beat by one with a 301. We shot a 301, which is a very respectable score, but HSC comes firing in with a 300.
Yeah.
Lose by one. Tough loss. Like I said, boys still played pretty well. Medalist was Jake Caesar with a 72.
He's the future, folks.
Jake is good. I'll tell you that. And you're gonna start to see that trend continue as I fill in the rest of the weekend. Played Saturday up at Warsaw, the Don Dicken Invitational, one of our favorite events of the year.
Yes.
We've won it 8 years in a row, and the boys came out firing. We sent out 2 teams. We sent out our 1 through 5, and then our 11 through 15. 1 through 5 shot a whopping 282, which is 2 under par, 2 off the school record in our first invitational of the year. Played really well. Jake with a 68, 4 under, or I think it was 3 under actually.
Par 71.
Par 71. And it was just a great performance from the boys. Also, our 6 through 10 boys went down to Hickory Stick for the Trojan Classic, I think, for Center Grove, and fired a 298, which was under 300 too. And like I said, these were our 6 through 10 guys. Not many 1 through 5s can break 300 in this state, but our 6 through 10 are doing the same thing. And that was a lineup that consisted of 3 freshmen. Ryan Caesar, who's the third of the Caesar boys. Hudson Kuchima, shout out Hudson, and then Mitchell Keene, 3 freshmen to go along with that. So that's very impressive. And boys continued their momentum with a win over Guerin and Carmel on Tuesday at Bridgewater. Jake, once again the medalist with a 71, played really well. Some other shout out, Gabe Nixon played the 6 for us that day, fired a 73.
Wow.
With a tripled hole 8, but was able to birdie enough holes to get back to just 1 over for the round. Like I said, big win, 292 for us, so very solid. But came out last night, played Guerin again, and didn't play as well. Shot a 158, and our low score was a 39. So it was just not a great performance for us. But that's okay, because we get to rebound right back and go up to Sandy Pines, which is where we won our regionals last year, and compete for a title there. So should be fun. Saturday will be a fun day. Also got a JV invite at Elwood Country Club. The Rocks sending 4 teams to that one. So should be a great weekend.
Absolutely. Diving into softball now. Since we've last seen you guys, it has not been pretty for the Rocks softball team. We went 1-4 in our last 5. The Wednesday that we did podcast, we lost to Greenfield Central at home 19-12. That was just a barn burner of a lot of offense and not a whole lot of pitching. And then the tournament in, I believe it was Kankakee Valley is where it was hosted, or maybe Lake Central. We went 1-2 on the day, with our first win coming in the earlier game, a 4-3 win over Kankakee Valley. We played at 10:30 that morning against Mishawaka. We lost 11-8, and then the time on here says 3 p.m. for the Lake Central game, but I'm pretty sure it was closer to 4 or 5 because of weather. It was 12. It was a 12-1 loss. So obviously not the pitching that we're looking for. And then Tuesday we lost away at Fishers 2-0. So I feel like a common trend that we're seeing with the softball and baseball teams is the offense is slowly deteriorating and the pitching isn't getting any better. So if both of these teams want to make sectional runs, then they got to step it up majorly. They got to play like a team. That is crucial. In the words of baseball coach Ryan Bonnell, playing like a team is way more important than playing for yourselves. And it's just, don't play selfish baseball. Don't play selfish softball. You got to be in it, for for a state championship. You got to play for each other.
Back to some news with boys and girls track. The distance kids had a big match. It's called the Flashes Showcase Miracle Mile, which is one of the most highly acclaimed matches of the year on their schedule. Ton of teams go, and it's one of the most fan-supported, recruited events that you'll see. Rocks with a pretty solid performance. Let's go to some highlights here. In the mile race, we had Colin Lacomic finishing first for Westfield. He finished 37th overall with a 4:24 mile. Obviously, That's very solid.
Yes.
And just behind him in, let's see here, in the 4x8, the Rocks finished ninth place with an 8:22, which is, once again, very, very solid.
Yes.
2-mile cumulative race. The girls also performed pretty well. For the team 4x8, they finished in 13th with a 10:30. Pretty solid. Like I said, there was a ton of teams at this event. So, and then some highlights from the 1-mile race. We had, one sec, it is loading. We had Liz Smith with a 5:29, finishing in 60th place. Pretty solid. With Emily Loisel, the freshman, or the sophomore, just behind her with a 5:32. So obviously this, these programs continue to carry off their success that they had in cross country, and we're seeing that in track so far this year.
Absolutely. When was the last time we talked about boys volleyball?
Last week.
Last week? All right. Because we are currently riding a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game win streak, and we have not dropped a set in 7 games.
That's this team is dominant, dude.
They are so dominant. Our last loss was to Fishers on March 27th. We are coming up on a month without losing, and it doesn't look like we're going to lose that anytime soon. We have an away game at Park Tudor tonight, and then next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have games against Avon, Perry Meridian, and Chittard. That is home, away, and home. So we're looking very strong coming into the later parts of the year. A tournament ends out the year for the boys volleyball team against Roncalli, Cathedral, and HSE. We beat Cathedral. We did not beat HSE, and I don't think we've played Roncalli yet. No, we have not. So that is going to be very interesting coming into sectionals where you got to play your best ball. Yeah. But this team, 12-2, have only dropped 8 sets all year, and they've won 38. That is... If you look up dominance in the dictionary, you see Westfield boys volleyball, and that could not be more true. I'm very excited to watch this team progress more than they already have, going into the postseason.
Yeah, and keeping it on track, but for the sprinters, we had a pretty good week at the Sprinter Showcase up at Lafayette Jefferson High School this past weekend. Shout out Dylan Walker with 2 really solid performances. He finished 8th in the men's 400 meter with a time of 50.88, which is something that I don't think either of us could do or even come remotely close to doing. He also ran in the 100 and finished in 18th. Also, Cade Parker, I think he's a first-year track runner. This kid has speed. He is like Lightning McQueen of the Westfield High School.
Ka-chow.
He has speed. Ka-chow, baby. But he finished in the top 20 of his 200-meter race. So ton of potential with him, and he's going to continue to get better as he starts to fill out his frame a little bit more. But that kid is very, very fast. On the women's side, let's see here. We had Lucy Hauser in the 100-meter hurdles, first place, with a PR of 15.5. That's pretty ridiculous.
That is.
And Lucy Hauser has continued to dominate at the high school rank. Obviously, we've seen her do this for her entirety of her career with this track program, and looks like that's not letting up. That's a personal record is pretty awesome.
She takes after her brothers.
Absolutely. She also finished with another PR in the women's 400 meter with 1 minute. 1 minute and 0.21 seconds. It's hard to say.
It is.
finishing 11th, which is obviously incredible. So she continues to dominate her ranks. Toby Fapetu of the women's team in the 200 meter finished 6th with a 26.22. Pretty grubby right there.
Yes.
As well as Princess Campbell winning the women's varsity 100 meter race with a 12.22. Pretty awesome. Great showing from the women's sprint team as well as the male this past weekend.
Absolutely. Now, are you gonna introduce this new segment that we have, or I guess it's a recurring segment, just in a different time of year?
Yeah. So this is something we've sort of done in the past, but essentially, the two of us here are going to draft teams in the spring sports category based on how likely we think that they can win their respective state championship.
Yeah.
For instance, football team was very solid this year. They could have been, the first pick in that draft.
Mm-hmm.
Here we're going to do it with the spring sports, and this is something that it's fun to do, and it's exciting to talk about because obviously we're still very early in a lot of these seasons, but at the more macro level, just sort of putting these teams in comparing them to their respective competition in each sport and engaging where they're at and how they can use that to advance far in the state's tournament this year.
Yeah. All right. Adrian will decide who goes first.
Oh.
By just like a coin flip, or you can just say, you can just think of a number and whoever's closer.
All right. Thinking of a number between 1 and 5.
Okay.
5.
4.
It was 3.
Evan.
That usually works.
Some game theory here. You never take the end number.
Hey,
especially if you're first.
I was trying to risk it all.
Yeah, I respect it.
All right, who are you taking?
So I'll take first and fourth.
Okay.
And my role with this team makes this pretty clear and pretty easy for me to do. But I'll take the Westfield golf team first
Solid
overall.
pick.
Currently ranked number 1 in the state. We were preseason number 1, and I think what puts this team over the edge for me is the fact that there's so many guys on this roster that just work their tail off. And when there's that many people who are so bought into the program and bought into every little thing that they're trying to do to win, it makes things a heck of a lot more easy. And, to be honest, I'm not really too this team has never had the amount of talent that it has had during my tenure at Westfield. And I would be hard pressed to think that they've ever had this much talent collectively on their team. Obviously, Alex Caesar is a stud. He's going to Ball State. Jake Caesar, arguably better. Those, they're very interchangeable brothers, always going head to head. Will Harvey is a stud. I mean, those are 3 guys that are probably in the top 12 to 15 of all golfers in the state of Indiana right now, and they're playing our top 3. Plus, look at Cam Coy, who has consistently played at that position and been so solid, as well as just some other solid pieces like Matthew Schull, Ryan Caesar, Jack Harris, plenty of other guys. This team is so loaded, so deep, and I think that they're poised for a state championship run.
With my number 1 overall pick, I'm going to do, I would say, if golf was 1, this team is no doubt number 2. I'm going to go with the aforementioned boys volleyball team. 12-2 on the year. Brody McAfee leading the charge with 117 kills through 14 games. That is absolutely crazy. They were preseason favorites. If you ask anyone around Hamilton County, you would say Fishers is up there, HSC, but most of them would have said Westfield. We returned so many amazing hitters, and our setter, Will Byers. And he has some kills. I believe he's in the 20s in kills. So just that is one team that I am confident they will go far. I cannot wait to be with them for their sectional, regional, state run, because the trip to Worthing starts in a little over 2 weeks. So they were playing their best ball now, which is exactly what they needed to. Their 2 losses came earlier in the season. Obviously, 2 losses out of 14 games is not terrible, but they're both the conference opponents, HCC opponents, Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers. At least they got a set on them. But if they're not losing 3-1, they're winning 3-0. Just going through their games, their first 3 games of the year were 3-0 wins. The loss to HSE, 3-2 win over Brebeuf, New Pal 3-0. Fishers lost 3-1, and ever since then, we have not dropped a set. So you talk about dominance in a team. You talk about just no mercy. Don't let your foot off the gas. It is the boys volleyball team, and that's a mindset that I believe that they will carry into the sectionals in the state tournament. So with my number 1 overall pick, the number 2 overall, give me the boys volleyball team.
And, I think there's 2 teams that have definitely emerged as the top 2 pretty distinctly. So good on us for picking those 2. And that's not to say, like, I think there's plenty of value going forward with the rest of this draft. But those 2 were pretty distinctly some of the most dominant in their sports.
With my second and final pick, I'm going to go with the team that I don't think gets enough attention or enough love. I'm going to go with the girls tennis team. Now, last year, they were not the greatest. I believe they were most of the varsity guys, or girls, I should say, were first round exits in sectionals because we did play Carmel. But Isabella Norris made it far, and then she promptly did not come back to the team this year because I don't want to say she's too good for the team, but her USTA ranking is so high that it would pale in comparison to anyone on the girls or guys team of all time. So that was a big loss, but we still handled that pretty well. We played very well in match play against conference opponents so far this year. The season is young, but top to bottom, varsity to JV, we are very, very good. Granted that, you don't see a whole lot of JV action, but the varsity team is very, very good, and so they are my number 2 pick for the team that I think could win state in the spring sports.
I like it. That's very solid, and they've continued to perform this year, and it's exciting to watch. I'll stay in the girls realm. We're gonna go with the Westfield girls lacrosse team.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
that surprises me.
That's bold.
and here's why. This team and most of these players have the championship pedigree. Last year they advanced to the state title, got beat, and it's easy to argue like some teams can sort of struggle coming off of that, and we've seen that at times for this team. But I think just having that in their back pocket, knowing that there's so many people that have already been in the arena and already been to the highest level of a championship game, I think that's going to serve them well, especially as they get into crunch time of the season. We have Lauren Dean, who's an absolute stud. Molly O'Brien continues to be so solid, and there's just, this team is very well rounded, and there's so many girls on this team that can help them get to that top level, and it's going to be exciting to watch them down the stretch. And like I said, when you get to a place like that, get to the state championship, that's sort of the expectation going forward. And so I'm excited to see the potential of this team. And obviously, like right now may not feel like that, but I think that as we sort of progress through the season and continue to get farther on, then they're going to be in good shape, just because they've already walked that walk. They've already talked that talk. So
They just got to do it again.
exactly.
Adrian, any thoughts?
I agree. I mean, they've had a pretty good year this year too, just from looking at some of the stats on Max Preps. I don't know much about girls lacrosse, but yeah.
That's fair enough.
Love it.
Any last words, Meph?
I don't think so. Any professional sports you want to dive into real quick?
Shout out Jalen Hurts. Made a bag this week.
Indeed.
Made a bag.
Woo.
Oh my goodness.
What was the final number on that?
It was 255 over 5 years. So he's getting paid $50 million a year. Grizzlies took game 2 last night, 103-93. Braves, best team in the MLB.
Wow. So we have a kind of an early 2-horse race in the MLB. The Rays and the Braves.
Yes.
Obviously, you're a Braves fan, so you're a little bit impartial to that. But
Just a little bit.
do you think you guys are distinctly the best team in the league?
Top to bottom, if you look at our lineup, yes. I don't know how we've lost 5 games. I believe 3 of our losses are to the Padres, which is beyond me. But
like, you know, we know what the Padres are capable of.
yes, they have a great lineup. They just have not executed very well so far this year. Their record does not define them. 9-11. It does not, like, that record does not define them at all. It's early. And I'm a little scared that the Braves are kind of using their best stuff now. I would rather them save that for later on in the year. But we're 8-2 in our last 10. We have a plus 32 run differential. We are way better away than at home. Granted, we've only played 7 home games. We played 12 away games, but I digress. And the Rays, I don't know. I just figure they had a really hot start to the year. I'm not sure their lineup is all that, but you can't really say much except there's some really good baseball going on right now. Shohei Ohtani hit a home run last night. He also got robbed of a home run by Aaron Judge, who then hit a home run like in his next at bat. The final of that game was 3-2 in the Yankees' favor. You love games like that where it's low scoring, but you have some really good offensive highlights, and it's a barn burner between the 2 starting pitchers and their bullpens. MLB is going to be really interesting this year. Some new rule changes have come out that were really controversial at first, but I think helped the game. Also, my last little thing on the MLB, Max Scherzer, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You cannot have sticky stuff, even though he swears it was sweat and rosin. I don't buy that, Max. I don't buy that.
We're stretching it a little bit there.
We're stretching a little bit. All right, you got pulled after the 4th inning, which those checks happen between innings, like every inning. I don't know how the umps missed it the first 3 innings, but it's just sort of beyond me.
No place for that. No place for that. Yeah, back to the Rays. You know, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys who have over 40 at bats, batting 300 or better.
That's crazy.
It's pretty ridiculous.
They still 14-3.
16-3.
16-3 now.
Yeah.
Great.
So they were 12-0, and then had a rough series last week with Toronto, but right back.
They went 1-2 in that series, I believe.
Are you a Reds fan at all?
I follow them a little bit. They're, I think, the closest team besides maybe the Cubs.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're yikes.
They punked the Rays. 8-1
They did
earlier this week.
But overall, they're not all that.
Yeah.
I believe Jacob Culp's a Reds fan. I don't want to give him a hard time. He had a hard enough time as it is last night.
Oh boy,
against that Fishers lineup.
Wow. Yeah, that was been a tough week for Westfield baseball. But kind of going back to that, like, you know, I think it's good to have that adversity. We talked about this with the basketball team. We talked about this with the football team. But when you go through that adversity in the middle of the season, you learn about the capacity of your leaders. And this team has a lot of leaders in that locker room, and I have full confidence that they're going to be able to pull the guys off the mat and continue to rally the ship and have a great season. Because, like, think about it. Carmel gets punked by us last year, and you could more or less say that they were able to, you know, sort of rally back as the season progressed. But and I think that Westfield's capable of doing the same thing, especially with the talent that we have.
Exactly, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I'm still looking at the standings. I don't know how the Diamondbacks are leading the NL West with a negative run differential, no less. They're on a 6-4 tear in their last 10. The Dodgers, bro.
Dodgers are playing good, aren't they?
They're playing better.
I'm just
Yeah, they were terrible to start the season. They're still 9-10. I know that's Rowan Elbert's team. Rowan,
Sorry to diss on you, man.
what you doing, bro?
Yo,
Like,
LB.
LB. I believe you had an uncle. It was either an uncle or a cousin that played on the Dodgers, so that's why he's a fan.
I thought that was race car. That's you.
That's me.
That is
I have a
you.
cousin that races in NASCAR. Yes.
All right.
He actually, sorry to brag here, he had 2 top 5s in his last 2 races. So I'm just saying, out of 40 cars,
Who is it again?
That's pretty good. Chase Briscoe. You can look him up.
Dang.
Yeah.
No way.
So I actually didn't know this. Some weird facts.
You guys boys? You and Chase, or more or less?
More or less, not as much ever since he went up to Cup.
Yeah.
But I see him sometimes. It's not as often as I probably should, but
It's all right.
yeah. The Rays are 10-0 at home.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In that beautiful ballpark.
That's beautiful. That's not the term I would use for that. Tropicana Field has always been kind of a weird, terrible place to play, if you ask anyone that's played there, because at one point they used real dirt and turf for their outfield, which just did not mix at all. Yikes, the Royals are struggling. 4-15 with 110 runs allowed through, I believe it's 19 games. Yikes, what are we doing?
Is it too early to think that this Rangers team might turn into a dynasty here?
I was just looking at that. Oh my goodness. They are young, but they also have veterans that they needed to have leading the way. They're on a 4-game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10, 12-6 overall. They're front runners to win the AL West right now. And I would love to see this team in the playoffs. They're very entertaining. They play with enthusiasm, and they're a fun team. The Orioles are also a fun team, even though they're sitting 3rd in their division right now. It's a stacked division. 11-7, same record as the Yankees. 3-game win streak, 7-3 in their last 10. Adley Rutschman leading the way there, even though he is so young. I don't know if you've seen these videos circling the internet of I can't remember who it was. It might have been Adley Rutschman that hit a double, and he does a little sprinkler, and then the POs that just have an off day, they have water in their mouth, they just spit it out like a sprinkler. Yeah, it's so it was so funny. Let me look it up. Orioles sprinkler celebration 2023. There we go. Let's watch this.
That's funny.
Okay,
They are fun.
we're just watching a TikTok.
Has lived up to the hype, putting runs on the board as well as rolling out these innovative celebrations where the base runner interacts with the dugout. When they hit a single, they turn the faucet on. Simple, effective. When they hit an extra base hit, naturally they turn on the sprinklers and the dugout lights.
Yeah, the Orioles have fun, and I can say I'm a pseudo Orioles fan after that. That is so I love teams that have fun. With just everyday baseball, you got to make everyday baseball fun. You're in it for 162 games. You got to make it fun somehow, and that's just how the Orioles do it, and they do it right. They have a winning record through, I believe it's 18 games that they've played. So, watch out for them as the season progresses and October gets nearer. Is that it?
Fun. They are gonna be fun. The whole rest of the season is gonna be very fun.
Cannot wait.
And it's gonna be very fun for Westfield sports going forward.
Yes. We have like a month left, a month and a half.
Crazy.
Like
This is flowing by. Feels like yesterday we were in the learning center doing college game day. Now we're a month out of being out of our jobs.
That's crazy.
I'll still be here though. Don't worry.
Yes,
Adrian will
still
be ready
here.
to pass the torch.
Yep.
Producer Alan, he's also got another year. He's a junior, so, yeah.
He's a junior with a senior heart.
According to Evan, I'm actually a senior.
Okay, let's relax. I wrote an article for Westfield Living, and I swear I put junior in there, but apparently I put senior, so that's tough by me. All right, I got to get out of here. I got pre-calc to go do. I don't want to fail a test. or
Yeah.
anything, so
Unpopular opinion, and I will come back to this. Miami Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl 2024.
Wow.
that's not happening. All right, peace out, guys.
Wow. All right. Take care. Peace.
Tonight, we have a battle between two polar opposite teams. It's the 1-9 Lawrence Central Bears taking on your 7-5 Westfield Shamrocks. Good evening, folks. I'm Rowan Elbert here with Aiden McNally, and a lot happened last night. With a 7-6 victory against the number one team in the state, how can they stay hot?
Well, coming off that 7-6 win just last night against number one Center Grove, they can't get any harder than that. With good recent form from the Rocks defense, it'll be hard for this Bears team to get streaky with just a team batting average of .188. Now, on the offensive side for the Rocks, it doesn't get much easier for the batting order, facing a team with an average ERA of 8.35. This one should be a offensively dominant game for Westfield.
Now to the pitching matchup. Preston Tam with a 15.4 ERA taking on Avery Jennings with a 7.5 ERA. Both pitchers looking to bounce back, but Tam has a lot of velocity, and I think he can bounce back against this, quite frankly, terrible Lawrence Central team. Now the score predictions. I mean, this Lawrence Central team hasn't found their rhythm all season, and Westfield is red hot right now with 3 straight wins. So I got Westfield winning 11-2.
Westfield is blazing high right now. Like you said, 3-game winning streak. Obviously facing Lawrence Central, who is 1-9 so far. I said just moments ago this is going to be an offensively dominant game for Westfield, so give me the Rocks 12-4.
I agree with that. Well, this one should be a fun one to say the least. We'll get you back out here for the opening pitch. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back with the opening pitch. Preston Tam is the starting pitcher for the Westfield Shamrocks. And in his last appearance, he only got through one batter, gave up 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 0 strikeouts. How can he bounce back tonight?
Well, obviously, he's not facing as tough competition as that last game. Lawrence Central, only a .188 batting average, so Preston Tam should look a little bit sharper in this one. It'll be fun to see how he adjusts after that rough performance last time, as well as the outfield and the infield for the Rocks defense.
Now, something to note with Lawrence Central, they don't have a DH for some weird reason. Maybe they don't like winning, as it seems like, as they only have one win. They don't have a DH. They have their pitcher in the lineup, Avery Jennings, batting 8th, and Avery Jennings still has not gotten a hit all season.
Yeah, it'll be tough to see what this Lawrence Central offense can do against such a strong, streaky Rocks defense. So all we're going to have to do is wait and see if Preston Tam can put on a show in front of his home crowd and see how the Lawrence Central batting order adjusts.
Now, Lawrence Central, they have 2 batters batting above 300, which is Ahmad Duff, the wide receiver for the football team, too, and Jack Wolf. But they have 11 batters batting below 200. I just think that is absolutely wild. This might be the easiest team Westfield has played all season, and coming off of 3 straight wins. We'll see what happens, though. I'm not going to prematurely say this is going to be an absolute just blowout, but you never know. I don't want to jinx is what I'm trying to say. But batting first for Lawrence Central is Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson with a .261 batting average. He has a triple on the season, too, and 3 RBIs. Let's see what he can do here against Tam. First pitch to Johnson. A little bit too high, ball 1. Now Tam, he's got the velocity, but the question is tonight, can he locate his fastballs? Second pitch. That ball is fouled off right over the press box. 2-0 count.
Johnson got good contact on that one. Luckily, Tam didn't put it right where he wanted it there.
Johnson is one of the better hitters on this Lawrence Central team. That explains why he is the leadoff man tonight. 1-1 count. That hit him on the head. Wow.
Hit him straight on the helmet. He's going to take a walk to first, and that ball, if there was no fence and window here, that would have hit me straight in the face.
That was something. The fastball straight to your head. He took it like a champ.
Ahmad Duff stepping up to the plate now. Fun fact about him, he had a 75-yard receiving touchdown for the Lawrence Central football team back in the fall against Westfield. I was commentating that game.
Ahmad Duff batting .450 on the year with a home run. He is the best hitter on this team with a man on base, a man on first. And that one almost hit him in the head too, but he ducked. 1-0 count.
We're 5-0 batting average for Duff. Preston Tam, his pitches are going a little bit wild early in this one.
I mean, the command, it hasn't been there all season with Tam, but this is not a great start. 1-0 count. He's going to foul that one off. He made a little bit of contact, but that was a really good pitch by Tam.
Yeah, and you can tell that one was right in the center of the zone. That's why Duff got contact on it. Obviously, it wasn't enough as it only jogged a couple yards.
Behind the dish for Westfield tonight is Nick Alm. He has not played since Saturday against Newcastle. He did not play in the last game. Tam, the pickoff throw is not in time.
Johnson was fast to get back to the plate there, as this will set up a 1-1 count with no outs, runner on first.
To note, as you guys don't know because you're not seeing this game live, and that ball is going to be fouled off, absolutely crushed. But something to note, both teams are wearing black uniforms.
Might be a little tough to see some plays here. Duff stepping back up to the plate. Count is 1-2, facing a strikeout here.
In Lawrence Central, They don't have a lot going for them, obviously, but their uniforms, too. They look like Little League uniforms, if you've seen those.
Here's the pitch. 1-2 count.
That almost hit him in the head again.
A little bit of a slider there.
That is the third time, that it's almost hit a batter in the head.
Yeah. Here's the next pitch, 2-2 count.
2-2 count for Tam. Just a little bit too high on the riser, and now a full count, 3-2.
Potentially going to send 2 players on bases here on first and second. And Johnson and Duff are very fast too, so those are 2 runners that you do not want to have on bases.
And the slider earlier, it didn't hit the zone, so maybe go fastball. And a swing and a miss. Preston Tam with his first strikeout on the fastball.
Wow, what a great pitch there by Tam. That was perfectly in the zone. Had Duff swinging with all his might there, and he didn't get a single piece of it. 1 out, still a runner on first, and now up to bat is number 10 for the Bears, Michael Wise, who is a 208 batting average hitter.
Yeah, not too good, as that will be the case for most of this team. And he is going to take off, and it looks like
the base, and he's going to be safe.
Wow.
Great steal there by Nick Johnson, as that's going to set up a runner on second base now with 1 out. Wise still up to bat. That was a ball, though, so it is a 1-0 count.
That's shocking to see because it looked like Tam was being really safe with the pickoff throws, but then he lets a man run to second. 1-0 count.
That's already 1 stolen base for the Bears tonight.
He has a big lead off of second, too. And a swing and a miss.
Cold down the center of the zone, and Wise was caught swinging there.
Yeah. The umpire, though, he was slow to make that call. He slowly pointed his fingers for a strike. It had me second guessing, but better late than never. 0-2 count. On the 0-2 pitch, that one's going to be fouled off.
Out off to the right. Wise got good contact on that one, just wasn't able to steer it inside the diamond.
Michael Wise, he is batting 208 like you mentioned earlier. Only 1 double with 5 RBIs, so he's looking for RBI number 6, and he is going to call time.
0-2 count here. Tam very ahead in the count.
Tam, other than the wild pitches so far, he's having not the worst outing. And he's going to take off to third base, and he will make it there. And he's going to lose it at third, and he is going to make his way home. Nick Johnson, what is going on?
Wow. He tried to go for the third base steal. He wasn't going to get it. The throw is off target. Doinks Johnson off the top of the head on the helmet, bounces into left field.
Not the first time he's been hit on the helmet tonight.
Yeah. Bears up 1-0.
I mean, that is just unacceptable, but his speed is unreal, I will say.
Wise is still up to bat with a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch from Tam.
A little bit too low. 2-2 pitch.
One thing we haven't really noticed with Tim is he's not really going for off speeds here early, which is surprising.
Yeah, off speed is really not the kind of pitches Tam throws. He goes full velocity, sliders, fastballs, and that one will go in the dirt.
Full count here for Tam. This was an at-bat where Tam was up 0-2 in the count.
3-2 count. And it looks like Wise is going to call time. And I mentioned this in the last game with Andrew Nicholson, comparing him to an MLB player, Clayton Kershaw. I'm going to compare Preston Tam to Brusdar Graterol, a guy who has a lot of velocity, but the command sometimes is just a bit off. 3-2 pitch, and that one is going to be low, and it will be a walk.
Looks like that one was in the zone. Obviously, we don't have the greatest angle up here. We're a little to the right of the zone. But Wise is going to take his walk to first base.
And now a mound visit. I wonder what Nick Alm is saying to Preston Tam in this situation. Because, like, obviously I'm not a manager. I'm just a commentator. I have no idea what you would tell a pitcher in this situation. Like, yeah, just try and get your pitches in the zone. I mean, it's really hard to talk somebody out of this kind of situation.
Yeah.
But coming up next for Lawrence Central is Jack Wolf, the junior. He's batting .318 with 6 RBIs, so he's probably the second best hitter statistically on this Lawrence Central team. With a man on first, 1 out.
Still only 1 out in this early first inning.
Whoa.
Tam's looking at first base. He's looking to avoid another stolen base on his watch. That one, they're going to give it to him.
Great pitch there
0-1 count.
by Tam. 0-1 count here. Here's the pitch. Straight down the middle of the zone. What a pitch by Tam.
The fastball, it's working this time. Maybe Tam is starting to find his groove. 1 out.
2 straight strikes. Could be the turning point here.
Nicholson had a situation like that in the last game too. 0-2 pitch for Tam. On the 0-2 pitch. And did he check his swing?
I think he did.
They're saying he didn't. Are you kidding me?
Umpire's going to say it's a ball.
He totally checked his swing. That is a 1-2 count. That pitch was high, and he swung.
Yeah, I agree. 1-2 count here for Tam. Runner still on first.
1-2 count. And
There
did he
it
swing
is.
that time? Yes, he did.
What a pitch by Tam. He's got Wolf swinging there. And on steps up to the bat, number 12 for the Bears, Nick Keltner.
Nick Keltner. Earlier in the game, I want to point this out. The catcher, Nick Keltner, he walked on the mound, which after all the field work had been done, and there's the pickoff throw, it's not in time. And that is seen as pretty disrespectful, so maybe he's going to try and make a statement here and get a base hit. That
Too
one just
high
a little
there.
bit too high. 1-0 count. Nick Keltner so far on the season is batting .087. That's not good. And 0 RBIs too. And the runner's going to take off to second base, and it's a wild pitch.
Michael Wise finds himself on second base.
The second stolen base. Actually, no, because this would really be the third or fourth stolen base.
And that's just not ideal for the Rocks.
Yeah.
2-0
2-0
count here.
2-0
Runner on
count.
second after the steal.
2-0 count, a man in scoring position. Tam looking to escape the jam. That one had some velocity, but it was in the dirt. 3-0 count.
Tam is very behind here. He does not want to let 2 runners on base here.
Now, I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but could this be the only inning we see Tam in tonight? That one's in the dirt, and a runner will advance to third base.
Wise gets third, so now there's a runner on first and third.
A runner on the corners. I mean, this is not looking good at all. And coming up next is Gabe Rodarte, batting .261 with 3 RBIs on the season.
The second baseman, Gabe Rodarte.
Might be able to make that 4 here.
He might. At this pace, he might. But still, 2 outs for Tam. He could maybe escape somewhat of a jam here against Rodarte, who's one of the better hitters in this Lawrence Central batting order. First pitch.
In the dirt there.
But as
1-0 count.
we also have a pinch runner in the game for Lawrence Central, and it is Xavier Lawrence.
1-0 count here.
Xavier Lawrence, you can tell he's thinking about taking second. That one's also in the dirt, and he's going to take off, and he's going to make it to second. Are you kidding me? That is the 6th stolen base?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
2 runners in scoring position for the Bears. The umpire's going to take a little walk here as I think that ball deflected off of him.
Yeah, hopefully he is okay. He's limping a little bit. And a mound visit will happen between Alm, Tam, and Drozlik. Now, while we're at it tonight, let's mention the available pitchers for Westfield according to the list they hung out in their dugout. Owen Swinford is available, so is Matt Drozlik, Ian Wilson, Nathan Bodenberg, who had an absolute gem of a day against Newcastle on Saturday, and Braden Hibbler are all available tonight.
Deep lineup for the Rocks. Cam is back up on the mound. Everything looks to be good. We'll resume play. 2-0 count. Runners on second and third. 2 outs.
This is like one of the worst situations you can be in as a pitcher. 2 runners in scoring position.
Here's the pitch.
That one is
popped
fouled.
up.
That one is going to be
Caught.
popped up and caught. And that will end the inning as some damage was done and Lawrence Central is in the lead 1-0. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back, bottom of the first, 1-0 lead for Lawrence Central. And on the mound for Lawrence Central tonight is Avery Jennings, who has a 7.95 ERA. He, as well as Tam, is looking to bounce back tonight. But something I do want to point out, Lawrence Central, obviously, even though they do have the lead, going into this game, their reputation has not been great. As I've mentioned it before, they've not been a good team all season. So in our game notes, we do game notes. They're usually about 6 pages long. We have talking points of like interesting stats, and we have taglines for them to label each of them. So here are the labels on these: trash, sad, end the pain, can't handle the heat, terrible, and can't get much worse.
Wow.
That was harsh on my part, I will say.
For Westfields, we have encouraging, what? Bombs, steel, dubs, red hot, outside, and triple.
I mean, can't get much better than that. Braden Hibbler up to bat. He's batting leadoff tonight. Braden Hibbler on the season, he is batting .267 with 7 RBIs. Now, Braden Hibbler last night, he had a triple that brought in 2 runs. And Westfield, so far on the season, they are 3-1 when they hit a triple.
All right, here we are, first pitch for Hibbler. That is way outside the zone from Jennings there.
Avery Jennings, the
1-0 count. Next pitch, outside yet again. Make that a 2-0 count now.
the sophomore Avery Jennings. He will also be in the batting order tonight, and he has yet to have a hit.
Another one outside.
That is slightly outside the zone. That was on the outside corner. The umpire not being too generous with that call.
Not at all.
But a 3-0 count.
3 straight balls outside.
Jennings, and that one's way outside,
Wow.
and that will walk Hibbler.
Hibbler will take a walk. First at bat for the Rocks. What are your impressions, Rowan?
So far, Hibbler having a lot of good plate discipline. He's looking really patient. And now Alex Rudolph playing left field tonight. Alex Rudolph, he is going to be the second hitter in the order tonight.
258 batting average for Rudolph.
And the
They're gonna
pickoff
try to-
attempt is not in time.
Braden Hibbler was quick to return to first base there.
Last night, Alex Rudolph went 0 for 1, but he walked twice and actually had 2 stolen bases. And another pickoff attempt is not in time.
2 straight pickoffs. They're trying to get Hibbler out of there.
I
Which
mean,
Hibbler is a very good base runner.
Yeah, sometimes he can be a bit foolish on the base pass, and that one's going to be by the legs of Rudolph, so
Way
1-0
inside.
count. He can be a bit foolish on the base paths sometimes, but there's no denying he has the speed to hurt you. And he has a huge lead off of first.
Pitch straight down the zone there for Jennings. Make that a 1-1 count.
That off speed looking good for Jennings. 1-1 count. And another pickoff attempt is not in time.
That's 3 pickoffs in 1 at-bat. Pickoff attempts, sorry.
Their pickoff attempts. He's looking like Kyle Manship from the game on Friday, and that one's going to be fouled off, and Braden Hibbler is going to steal second.
Wow, what a steal there for Braden Hibbler.
But he cannot take second because it's a foul ball, so he will go back to first. That would have been
Huge.
something. Westfield would have needed that.
1-2 count.
Jennings is looking back at Hibbler, 1-2 count. And Rudolph is going to absolutely drill that one foul into the bullpen. Makes it still a 1-2 count.
Braden Hibbler on first base.
One-two count. Jennings once again looking back at Hibbler, and Hibbler's going to take off to second base. Fouled off yet again, it looks like. And
Hibbler wins that second base bad.
And if Rudolph hadn't made contact on that pitch, as he did swing, then it would have been a strikeout, but still Hibbler would be in scoring position. If I'm Jennings, I'm going for another pickoff throw, and he will not. And Rudolph is going to hit that one straight to the first baseman, and
Hibbler's safe at second.
he is safe at second, going for the double play.
So
Did not get it.
So Rudolph did hit that one straight into the first baseman. Tagged him out at first base, but Hibbler did make it to second base in a slide. So now it's 1 out. Braden Hibbler at second base.
And it's going to be Colin Lindsay up at bat for Westfield.
Batting 244 for the Rocks. 4.433 on base percentage.
Colin Lindsay at DH tonight. We have not seen that all season, so that should be interesting. And that one on the outside edge, they're not going to give that to Jennings.
That was a very good pitch by Jennings. I thought you could make an argument for that being a strike.
Not the call I would have made, but oh well. 1-0 count. On the 1-0, that one too high.
As you see Jennings staring down Braden Hibbler at second base. He's looking for the pickoff. But Braden Hibbler is fast. I don't know if they'll be able to get him.
Hibbler's aggressive too. as he has a huge lead off of second. I would be careful if I'm him.
Here's the pitch. Way
down
inside.
the middle. Way down the middle. The fastball looking good for Jennings, and now a 2-1 count.
What
Even
a pitch
count.
by Jennings. That brings up a 2-1 even count. Here's the next pitch.
2-1
Way
count.
inside.
And Lindsay is going to foul that one off. 2-2 count. Lindsay, from what I've seen from him all season, he tends to swing at off speeds that are usually lower in the zone. So let's see if he can do that in this. If he will do that in this at bat. And that one, he's going to hit that one in the center field. And Hibbler, will he make his way home?
Hibbler
He will. He will.
Lindsay with a RBI double there.
RBI single for Colin Lindsay.
Was that a single? Oh,
Yep.
Lindsay only ran one base, but Braden Hibbler ran two.
So Colin Lindsay, who he's been slumping at the beginning of the year, he is looking to bounce back in these past couple of games. And Evan Russ hit his first home run of the season for the Westfield Shamrocks last night. A 3-run home run, and this ball is going to be hit fouled into right field, and will it be caught by the first baseman? And it will not.
Wow, Evan Russ caught a break there. Lindsay was ready to run straight to second base after that was caught.
Evan Russ, he is red hot in the past 3 games, as he is 7 for 9 in the last 3 games with a home run for an average of 7.7. I mean, can't get much better than that. 0-1 count, and the pickoff attempt is not in time.
Safe there with a 0-1 count with 1 out.
Colin Lindsay is also a really good base runner. He leads the team in stolen bases with 8.
Here's the pitch.
0-1 count, and that one's looked like it was in the zone, and the throw to second is out. He is out at second. That was a close one.
So now 2 outs with a 1-2 count. And all of a sudden, this is 1 strike away from flipping sides heading to the second inning.
Yep, 0-2 count. That was probably a good decision to run to second base, and I thought he made it. That was a very close call, but the umpire calls him out. 0-2 pitch. Jennings, that one's way outside. 1-2.
1-2 count here with 2 outs. No runners.
Jennings on the 1-2. Nobody on the base pass. And that one almost hit Russ in the head, but Russ is going to duck. 2-2 count.
He had to duck to get out of the way of that one. That was a heater.
We saw that with Tam a few times in the last half of the inning.
Jennings on the 2-2 count.
2-2 pitch for Jennings, and that one's going to be popped up into right field, and it will be caught with the sun in his eyes. And Westfield, they strike back, and they tie the game up 1-1. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back, top of the second. Preston Tam is back out there. His stats in the last inning he pitched, he had 1 strikeout, but 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and an earned run. How can Tam bounce back?
Well, after that first inning for the Rocks offense, maybe that might shake the Lawrence Central batters up a little bit. Hopefully it does, because Tam is going to need that momentum on his side if he wants to get his stride back in this one. But before those 2 walks, he wasn't playing bad, so maybe it was just a little mental game.
And I'm looking in the bullpen. It looks like that's Matt Drozlik in the bullpen for Westfield. Drozlik made his first pitching appearance in the Newcastle game. He went for 1 inning, didn't give up a hit, and struck out 1 batter. So very small sample size, but he's looking good so far. And Connor Deem up to bat for Lawrence Central. Now Deem on the season so far has not gotten a hit. That's not good at all. There are a few guys in the Lawrence Central batting order that are like that, and that one's too high. 1-0 count.
See if Dean can get back up here on the board.
1-0 pitch, and a swing and a miss.
What
Tam
a
with the
pitch there by
fastball.
Tam.
Tam with the fastball. That was a nasty pitch. 1-1 count.
Here's
Let's
the
see if
pitch
Tam
from
can find his rhythm. 1-1 pitch, and that one's going to be fouled off over the press box.
Straight back. He was getting some decent contact on these, but just can't hit it straight.
1-2 pitch for Tam. Tam on the 1-2. A swing and a miss yet again for the strikeout. Preston Tam. Absolutely nasty. That looked like a slider to me. That was a great pitch.
It's like that. Deem is back in the dugout and on trots the pitcher, Avery Jennings.
Avery Jennings, the pitcher, he is back out. He's out there for his first at bat. He has yet to have a hit this season, and they're not going to give that to Tam, as it looked like it was on the edge of the strike zone. 1-0 count. Tam on the 1-0. And did he check his swing? No, he didn't. He quarter swing, so 2-0 count.
It did look like he did, though.
It kind of did, but still a quarter swing. I mean, it's hard to tell, but what the pitcher's intent was. But 2-0 count. That was some heat right down the middle. 2-1 count.
Great cold strike there by Tam.
That's my favorite thing that you say, a cold strike. That's my favorite thing you say, even count. And that one also down the middle. Cold strike.
Yeah, 2-2 count.
Tam on the 2-2, and that one almost hit him, but he moves his body in such a way that he avoids the pitch. 3-2 count. Tam on the even 3-2 count, and that one is in the zone. Strike 3.
Avery Jennings going back to the dugout, as now they're in the last batter of the batting order.
Jordan Aaron.
Jordan Aaron on the year. 167 batting average. 2 RBIs, though. 2 hits.
Nobody on base for Lawrence Central. 2 outs. Jordan Aaron. A swing and a miss. That was a nasty fastball.
Great pitch there.
Tam, when his pitches, those high velocity pitches, when they're in the zone, they are absolutely nasty. Tam on the 0-1 count, and he's got it in the zone yet again. 0-2 count. Preston Tam starting to find his rhythm.
Can he get 3 straight strikes here?
Just a little bit outside.
1-2 count.
You kind of jinxed him.
A little bit.
A little bit. It's okay. He's going to strike him out soon. Let's hope. Maybe I just jinxed him. Tam on the 1-2. A little bit too high, and that's going to be fouled off.
Straight in the back right.
It would be important if Tam gets Jordan Aaron out, because if he gets Aaron out, then you won't have to face the top of the order until the next inning. So that would be helpful. 1-2 count. And he swung on and missed. Preston Tam. 3 strikeouts in 1 inning, and Westfield looking good defensively, as it's now a 1-1 ball game going into the bottom of the second. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back to the bottom of the second. 1-1 ball game. Avery Jennings is still out there. 1 inning pitch so far. He gave up a walk and an earned run. He also did give up a hit to Colin Lindsay. How can Jennings improve off of his last inning of work?
It's going to be tough to, because the Rocks had so much momentum at the end of that last inning. And we're kind of forgetting that Avery Jennings just struck out moments ago, which could mess him up mentally. And we have Matt Drozlik, the power hitter, up at bat next. It's going to be tough for Avery Jennings to get back on track here for the Bears.
Matt Drozlik with 10 RBIs on the season thus far, and also on the season batting .258. I said in the last broadcast, if anyone were to hit a home run on this Westfield team, it would be Matt Drozlik. Then he didn't get a hit that inning, but then next batter, Evan Russ, went yard. And that one in the middle of the zone, off speed, 0-1 count. Jennings hasn't shown a lot of velocity so far. Another off speed, that one in the dirt.
Way outside and in the dirt. It's going to bring up a 1-1 count.
You don't want to put an off speed in the middle of the zone with a guy like Matt Drozlik, because he will crush it. That one outside. I actually agree with that call. Some people might say that that was on the edge, but I think that was outside off the plate. 2-1 count. 2-1 even count. And that one's going to hit Drozlik. That is the second time in the past 2 games Drozlik's been hit by a pitch. And he takes it like a champ every time. It's going to be Ty Anderson up to bat for Westfield. He did not bat last night, but he is hitting .257 with 2 RBIs on the season so far.
Runner on first. And Matt Drozlik. Ty Anderson is going to crack this one, find the gap.
And Drozlik's going to make it to second base. And the one thing I'm kind of surprised about is that Drozlik's still out there. I'm surprised they didn't bring out Drew Law to pinch run.
Yeah.
But Anderson with a single that puts Drozlik in scoring position. I think now is when you might put Drew Law in there. But looks like they're going to keep Drozlik in at second base with Nick Alm up to bat.
And if Nick Alm can get a solid hit here, it could be bad news.
Nick Alm did not play last night. That pitch way outside for ball 1. Drozlik had quite the lead off of second, too. That would be incredible if he were to steal third. One 0 count. That one in the zone. 1-1 count.
Still runners on first and second. 1-1 count. Nick Alm at the plate. No outs. Here's the pitch.
That one's also going to be in this zone. It's going to drop right in. 1-2 count. Nick Alm, he's got a lot of plate discipline, so don't expect him to swing on these pitches that are right on the edge of the strike zone.
1-2 count here. Jennings in the lead.
Drozlik, big lead off of second. That one a little bit too high. 2-2 count.
It looked in the zone, but it was hard to make that call from up here.
Yeah, it's very hard to make the call from up here. 2-2 count. A swing and a miss. Nasty pitch from Jennings, and that will get Alm out. And it's going to be Ian Wilson, the third baseman, up to bat. Wilson, he's had a couple of good games this season, but still not the best stats. 167 average. And last night against Center Grove.
Right to start out the count.
Yep. He was 0 for 3.
Here's the second pitch of the at-bat.
0-1 count.
Straight down the middle.
Wilson's going to hit that right to the shortstop, and a potential double play. He will not make the throw to first in time.
Drozlik's going to find
And
his way
Drozlik is
home.
going to make his way home off of the error. And would you look at that, Westfield with their first run of the inning, and they take a 2-1 lead.
And that ball would have been too slow anyway. The first baseman there kind of choked up. Let the ball slide right past his glove, and Drozlik finds his way home.
And I was criticizing the decision to have Drozlik out there base running, but he makes his way home, and it's going to be the center fielder, Caden Lindsay, who went 1 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. First pitch,
way
just outside, just outside. One out count. That one's going to be close to the dirt. 2-0 count. Wilson on first base. 2-0 pitch. That one's going to be outside yet again.
3 straight balls for Jennings, setting up a 3-0 count.
It looks like he's going for that slider, but it's just not hitting the zone whatsoever. 3-0 count. Jennings looking at first base.
Runners on first.
That one a
Great
little bit
strike.
too high, but they're going to give it to him. 3-1 count.
That one was tough to see, but it did find its way in the middle of the zone, and they're going to find him.
Maybe a bit of a
Strike there.
generous call, but 3-1 pitch. Lindsay's going to foul that one off. Actually, it will be fair, and it will be a. He's actually going to make it to first base.
The third baseman was confused there, and so
Yep.
was I. That was straight down the line.
Okay, they're actually going to call him
Foul.
fouled off, as that's what it looked like to me. And I kind of second guessed myself because the play continued on as if that was a fair ball, and now a 3-2 even count for Caden Lindsay.
Here's the
Wilson's
pitch.
going to take off, and it's going to be a walk over the head of Lindsay, so it won't matter anyway.
It's another stolen base for the Rocks. Oh, wait.
It wouldn't be because
It was a ball.
it was a ball.
Yeah.
But Braden Hibbler back up to bat. He walked in his first at-bat. Let's see what he can do in this at-bat.
Braden Hibbler, top of the order for the Rocks, finds himself back at the plate here in the second inning.
He's
That's
going to
gonna be
foul that one off.
Fouled off to the left side on the ground. Just a little Westfield talking point here. Outside, Westfield is 4-1 in non-conference play. Lawrence Central is a non-conference opponent. So let's see if they can make that 5-1 tonight.
Hibbler, let's see. He looked really disciplined in his last at-bat. Let's see if he can possibly get more aggressive with a man on first, but still 2 outs. We'll see what happens.
Here's the pitch.
Jennings way outside.
Outside there. 1-1 count, I believe.
Wilson on second, Lindsay on first. Alex Rudolph on deck. Wilson with a big lead off of second. That one's going to be in the dirt. Ball 2, even count.
2-1 count, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Braden Hibbler up at bat. Here's the
2-1
pitch
count.
from
Jennings looks back. 2-1 count. That's going to be right by the head of Hibbler. He's going to lean back. 3-1 count. The fastball for Jennings. The location just hasn't really been there tonight, as he already has 2 walks.
Here's for the fourth ball to send the bases loaded.
3-1 count. And Hibbler is going to hit this one into left field, and that is going to bring in a run. Would you look at that? An RBI single for Braden Hibbler.
Ian Wilson finds his way home. Runners on first and third now. Speaking of the numbers 1 and 3, that's the score now. 3-1 Rocks.
And now Jennings is in trouble with Alex Rudolph up to bat, Caden Lindsay on third, Braden Hibbler on first. Lindsay and Hibbler both very fast, and now a mound visit for Jennings. I mean, Hibbler, great eye. He spots the off speed on that last pitch and just hits it right to left field.
Finally got perfectly up and over the infield, but in front of the outfield there as the mound has cleared off.
And Alex Rudolph is back up to bat for Westfield. He is 0 for 1 so far on the day.
Sophomore Caden Lindsay is in running position, or scoring position, sorry.
2 outs, 2 men on the corners on base. And he's going to swing on and miss on that pitch.
0-1 count. Still 2 outs. Let's see if the Rocks can bring home just one more run before the switch.
Was still quite the successful inning for the Westfield Shamrocks. 2 runs scored. And that one is a wild pitch. And Lindsay is going to make his way home. And Hibbler is going to try for third base, and he will get there.
Great stuff there from the Rocks offense. Now the score is 4-1 with a runner on third.
A wild pitch for Jennings. Just so far in this inning, he had his stuff in the first inning, but so far tonight, it just hasn't been there. Now Hibbler on third base. 1-1 count. That one, they're going to
Wow.
give it to him. Wow, that looked
What
like
a
it was
pitch.
outside. That looked like it was kind of outside off the plate, but kind of on the edge. So 1-2 count. 1-2 count. That one's definitely outside. 2-2 count.
Still have Braden Hibbler on third base. Can Rudolph bring him
2-2.
home?
That is
Way
going to be high.
outside.
That's going to be high and outside. 3-2 count.
Full count. 2 outs.
Could this be the third walk of the day for Jennings if he walks Rudolph on the full count? We will see. 3-2 pitch, and that is a swing and a
Wow.
miss. Jennings escapes somewhat of a jam, and that will end the inning. But the damage has been done. The Westfield Shamrocks now lead 4-1. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. Welcome back. Top of the third. Preston Tam is still out there for Westfield. Nick Johnson is going to hit in his second at-bat. He was hit by a pitch right on the head. But something to note with Lawrence Central, they've got a man in the bullpen, Adam Holmes Gain, and that one's going to be outside, ball 1.
Johnson was the only Bears run so far in this game in the young match.
And that ball is going to be hit into left field and fouled off.
Way behind stands. That one
Tam so
flew.
far on the day, 5 strikeouts, 2 innings pitched, 1 earned run, and 2 walks. And one of those walks was a hit by pitch. 1-1 count for Tam. The fastball right
Wow.
down the middle. 1-2 count.
Great pitch there from Tam.
Tam on the 1-2. He has the lead in the count. 1-2 count. That one's going to be fouled off. Johnson. He's kind of lucky to make contact on that one. That was a great pitch by Tam.
1-2 count on the verge of a strikeout yet again for Tam.
Tam looking for strikeout number 6 already. 1-2 pitch. And they are not going to give that to Tam on the outside edge and low. 2-2 count.
Still ahead in the count though, so be a little patient.
Tam on the 2-2. That ball is going to be hit into left field, right to Rudolph, and it will be caught for the first out.
Great contact there from Johnson deep into left field, but Rudolph was there with the quick hands.
Now back up is Ahmad Duff. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The shortstop Duff, he did make an error earlier in this game.
1 out, no runners on base.
1 out. Tam first pitch, and that one's going to be fouled into right field. Drozlik is chasing that one down. It's going to be over the fence. 0-1 count.
How all the players reacted there, it looked like they might have been able to catch that one, but
Drozlik, he was turning the burners on that one. He almost made that catch over the fence, but 0-1 count. Tam on the 0-1, 1 out. That one in the zone, fastball, 0-2 count now.
Tam on the verge of his 5th or 6th strikeout.
Yeah, 6th strikeout.
0-2 count, 1 out. Could make it 2 outs with this pitch right here.
Preston Tam, 0-2 count, and they
Got
swing and they miss. Preston Tam looking great so far with his first strikeout of the inning, 6th strikeout on the day.
Michael Wise steps up to the plate.
Michael Wise walked in his last at bat, and he actually did score a run too. He had a stolen base and he had a run scored, and that one is going to be
a little low.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I don't really necessarily agree with that.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm going to be kind to this umpire tonight. 1-0 count. That one's a little bit low. Not a little bit low, definitely low in the dirt. 2-0 count. And now a mound visit. Nope, Alm's just going to throw the ball back. It looked like a mound visit. He was walking up slowly to the pitcher's mound. Yeah, there would have been no reason for a mound visit anyway. Tam is absolutely dealing.
And you want to just kind of want to ask yourself what happened in the middle of innings for Tam to just flip the switch. 2-0 count here.
And a swing and a miss for Wise, and now an even count, 2-1. Two outs for Tam.
No runners on base.
Tam on the 2-1 pitch, and that one's going to be fouled off. As I saw, you kind of flinched.
A little bit. That wasn't as bad as the one in the first inning, though.
Yeah, that was.
That one was.
Yeah, that one
wasn't
that one wasn't even off the bat too. That was off of the helmet.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, that's how you know Tam's got some heat.
And Tam retire the side with this pitch right here.
2-2 count.
Yes,
he will. Preston Tam, his 7th strikeout. He is absolutely dealing as Westfield still a 4-1 lead. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back as a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the third. The Westfield Shamrocks in front. Avery Jennings is still out there for Lawrence Central.
Now, in your opinion, how has Avery Jennings played so far?
Not the best. I mean, 4 earned runs and 2 innings pitched. This really has not been his outing. And if you look at the stats in his games played so far, really no game has been his game. So, which you can really say that with almost any Lawrence Central pitcher. And that's why their lowest team ERA, they have a team ERA of 8.53. And the lowest ERA on the team is an ERA of 5.83. That's awful. That's Oliver Wilkinson with a 5.8 ERA, and that is the lowest on the team. You can round that up. That's a 6 ERA, and that's the lowest on the team.
Colin Lindsay up to start the bottom of this third inning off.
Colin Lindsay is 1 for 1 with an RBI. So let's see what he can do in this.
I believe.
Let's see what he can do in this at bat, an RBI single. That one outside in the dirt, 1-0 count. Lawrence Central, they have nobody in the bullpen. They had a guy in the bullpen earlier, but now nobody's in the bullpen warming up. 1-0 count. That one
looks like it hit him.
That was pretty close. 2-0 count though.
And you wonder, with nobody in the Lawrence Central bullpen, how long will Jennings be out here for?
Yeah, that's something to think about. 2-0 count, and that one's going to be fouled off. The off speed once again. Lindsay, he likes to swing at it. Even count, 2-1.
Rocks are leading 4-1 in this one in the bottom of the third with no outs.
2-1 count. That
Wild.
one above the head of Colin Lindsay. 3-1 count. Lindsay had to duck.
And Lindsay is one pitch away from finding first base yet again in this one.
Yep, had the RBI single earlier. 3-1 pitch. And that was a swing and a miss.
Great pitch there by Jennings to even this count up. Now it's a full even count in 3-2.
Now back to that wild pitch, or close to it. I always say take one for the team, but I don't know what I would do in that situation. That one's going to be hit into left field.
Lifted deep.
And it's going to be caught. Talk about an athletic play by the left fielder, Jordan Aaron.
What a catch. And that looked just like Evan Russ's hit from last night in the first inning.
Just way shorter.
Obviously,
and speaking of Evan Russ, here he is.
Evan Russ up to the plate. Obviously the home run hero last night.
Anyway, 1 out. That one is going to be outside. Ball 1.
One thing I've noticed with Jennings is he hasn't really had any pitches in the inside. If it's a ball, it's 90% of the time it's outside.
Yeah, the off speed is just not getting in the zone so far this inning. 1-0 count through a fastball. Didn't make it. 2-0 count. Evan Russ, he is 7 for his last 10 at-bats. 2-0 count. That one is way too high. 3-0 count.
1 ball away, sending Evan Russ to the first base.
Yep, way behind in the count.
3-0 count. Here's
3-0
the pitch. Straight down the middle for Jennings.
Got Evan Russ looking.
3-1 count now.
I mean, those are the type of pitches you see Evan Russ swinging at. But that was a little bit too high. Anyway, 3-1 pitch, and Evan Russ is going to swing at that one straight to the center fielder, Nick Johnson, and it is going to be caught.
Straight deep down center field. Nick Johnson with the catch there. That'll send
Matt Drozlik up to bat.
Two outs now, and
he was hit by a pitch earlier in the game for the second time in 2 games.
This is the first time, the first side I've seen in a while where the 2 outs have been 2 pop flies.
Yeah, because Tam, he's been shoving.
Yep.
7 strikeouts.
Roslick, first pitch.
First
He's
pitch.
going to slam that one straight up. And what did I just say?
Yep,
Make that
right to Nick. That's going to be right in the infield, actually, to the shortstop, and that is going to end the
make
inning.
that a third straight pop fly. That's going to retire the side. Rocks still up 4-1.
You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back, and Preston Tam, despite him having a pretty solid outing, they're going to take him out in favor of Nathan Bodenberg. Nathan Bodenberg, only one appearance this season, but in that one appearance, he looked great. 4 innings pitched, only 2 hits given up, 0 earned runs, and 6 strikeouts. How can Nathan Bodenberg stay hot?
Well, I guess it just relies on the batters of Lawrence Central, basically, because Preston Tam, he started off kind of rough, but he found his stride later in his performance. I believe Nathan Bodenberg will start off a little rough. This first inning might not be exceptional, but Nathan Bodenberg is one of those pitchers that just has to heat up. But when he's hot, and he'll just shove the rest of his game.
Speaking of heating up, he's throwing some heat in these opening pitches.
It's going to be Jack Wolf.
Jack Wolf, the first baseman he struck out earlier. And just looking at these uniforms for Lawrence Central, I mentioned them earlier. They are terrible. They look like Little League uniforms, and the jerseys, they look like a T-shirt, you know? Looks like they were bought from some cheap custom jersey shop.
First pitch for Bodenberg.
Fouled off.
Tipped and fouled off right.
And I know you heard that one.
Yeah.
Right below the press box.
Wow. That is 3 pitches tonight that have almost hit us.
Yep. 0-1 count for Bodenberg. He's throwing some heat. Bodenberg 0-1. That one just a little bit outside. And if you've watched any of the previous baseball broadcasts, you will notice a difference tonight. We have a shotgun mic in the fence. Our incredible producer, Alan, set that up. And now you can hear crowd noise and moments like that where the ball hits the fence. Helps the immersion. 1-1 count. Did he check his swing?
Yes,
he
did.
did.
Great pitch there by Bodenberg.
Kind of slow to make the call, but the umpire, his arm movements, it kind of has a lot of suspense to it because he slowly moves his arms. Adds more suspense. 1-2 count. Bodenberg, too low. 2-2 count. Nathan Bodenberg, so far, the velocity is looking really good for Bodenberg as it was in the Newcastle game. Bodenberg,
here.
2-2 payoff, and that is going to be low yet again. 3-2 pitch.
Full count to start off his first at-bat.
If I'm Bodenberg, maybe I go off speed here and kind of fool him in a sense. 3-2. He will not, and a swing and a miss on the fastball.
Nathan Bodenberg starting off his performance strong with the strikeout there. That is Jack Wolf's second strikeout tonight for the Bears. And on trots up to the dish, Nick Keltner.
Yep, the catcher, Nick Keltner, who walked earlier.
Now batting the catcher, Nick Keltner.
First pitch here, Bodenberg.
That one's going to not drop in. It's going to be low.
Had some huge drop on that, though. I know we all saw that.
The movement on that was too much. Too much movement. 1-0 pitch, Bodenberg. That one is going to be hit in the center field right to Caden Lindsay, and he will make the catch.
Lindsay just made that so easy. That had some speed to it from Keltner. But just like that, this side is almost over. Bodenberg is putting on a show.
And now Gabe Rodarte, who is 0 for 1 on the day, the second baseman Rodarte.
First pitch.
Bodenberg on the first pitch. That one in the zone, strike one.
What a strike there for Bodenberg. He's getting dangerous.
He's red hot.
0-1 count, Bodenberg.
And they're not going to give that to him. Wow.
Just barely outside.
Yep, on the outside edge.
Probably the closest you could get there to a strike, without it being a strike.
Bodenberg on the 1-1 with 2 outs. Nathan Bodenberg, that one just a little bit too low. 2-1 count, even count. Two outs for Bodenberg. I kind of criticize the decision to take Tam out, but it's paying off so far. 2-1 count. That one is going to be crushed into left field. It looks like it's going foul. Braden Hibbler chasing that, and he will not make the catch.
Looks like that was foul anyway. As Braden Hibbler is a little slow to get up. He fell kind of awkwardly there.
And the umpire, that was kind of a funny exchange there with him and Rodarte, because Rodarte took first base as if that was a fair ball, and the umpire was like, what are you doing? Get back to home plate.
Rodarte is back at home plate now.
Yep.
2-2 count on 2 outs.
Yep, 2-2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. I wish it was the second inning, because then it would be 2-2-2-2. Anyway, 2-2 with 2 outs.
Here we go. Bodenberg.
A little bit too low.
Ooh. That
and
was
now
close,
an even
though.
count. Can Bodenberg clutch up?
Full count here. It's either going to be a walk or a strikeout to end the side. Here's Bodenberg.
3-2 pitch, and that one is going to be grounded to
It's not gonna
Hibbler,
find
and the
the
throw to
gap.
first is in time. It was not a strikeout or a walk. It was a
You're
ground
right.
out to end the inning. It's the legendary commentator's curse, and it paid off this time. Westfield still on top, 4-1. You're watching the Westfield Sports Network. That.
Welcome back to the Westfield Sports Network. The Rocks hold a 4-1 lead going into their offensive streak. In the bottom of the fourth, we have a little bit of news for you here. Adam Holmes Gaines has checked in for the pitching job for Lawrence Central. Believe it or not, has not made an appearance yet at pitching.
And
he's had a couple appearances at the bat. What role is Adam Holmes Gaines stepping into, and what will he have to do to get the Bears right back into this game?
he's kind of doing what Colin Lindsay did in the past few games, which is kind of be an opener, except he's not the opener. But as we've seen, he has not pitched all season, and in these opening pitches, it shows. He is not finding the strike zone. His off speeds are way outside, and now Ty Anderson is up to bat.
Ty Anderson up to bat earlier in this game. He hit a single, I believe.
Yep.
1-for-1 this game. Ty Anderson is batting .257 on the year with 2 RBIs.
Anyway, Holmes Gaines is looking for his first strikeout of the year, and it looked like Anderson kind of tried to bunt.
It
1-0
did.
count.
Bunnell loves his bunts, as we've seen here in the past couple
Yeah,
of days.
especially with Eli Manbeck, but unfortunately, Manbeck not in the batting order tonight. He will not try to bunt there. 2-0 count. And Holmes Gaines, I did not see him throw a single strike in the warm-up pitches, so this could get ugly really quick. And he is going to
curse.
Yeah, commentator's curse.
Straight down the center of the zone there. Had Ty Anderson watching. 2-1 count.
Holmes Gaines on the 2-1 count. And that one is going to be hit into left field.
Deep and high.
And it is going to be caught by the shortstop Duff.
So the Rocks, 1 out. Ian Wilson, the sophomore, steps up to the plate. Ian Wilson is also 1-for-1 in this game. Never mind,
That's
it's going to
actually
be
Nick Alm, the catcher, Nick Alm. He struck out earlier in this game, which is really rare to see. But with his plate discipline, it's really rare to see him strike out.
Holmes Gaines.
Anyway, first pitch of the at-bat is just a little bit outside. 1-0 count. I will say, Adam Holmes Gaines is really impressing me so far. That ball just a little bit outside, 2-0 count. He's impressing me because although hasn't made an appearance all year, he's proving us wrong. 2-0 count. That one in the dirt.
3-0 count.
Nick Alm, once again, that plate discipline, it's great. Also something to mention, right next door to us, the softball game is going on. 3-0 count. And they are going to
Nick
walk
Alm. Is going to take a walk. So now it'll be Ian Wilson, who had a single earlier in this game. 1-for-1. He's stepping up to the plate on the season. Wilson is batting .167.
Ian Wilson was in scoring position at one point in this game. So let's see what happens. And now a pinch runner for Westfield, and it's Eli Manbeck, who we mentioned earlier, in for Nick Alm. One out. That ball in the dirt, ball one, and Manbeck, he had a lead off of first there. He might be thinking about taking off.
Definitely. That's what they subbed him on for.
1-0 count. That one's in the zone.
Down the middle.
A
Great pitch
cold
there by
strike,
Holmes
in the
Gaines.
words of Aiden McNally. 1-1 count with 1 out. That ball just a little bit too high for the umpire's liking. 2-1
Just too
count.
high. It looked like it could have been a strike, but his umpire not
too generous.
Not too generous.
2-1 count. That one is going to be low yet again. 3-1 count, and Manbeck each time still with a big lead off of first and still no pickoff attempts. Holmes Gaines in the 3-1. That's a wild pitch, and Manbeck is going to take off to second base. And Wilson will make his way to first base as well.
Hayden Lindsay next up to bat for the Rocks with a runner on first and second. Lindsay tonight did have a walk.
Caden Lindsay did not have the best outing last night, but so far he's improving in this game with a walk.
Yeah.
And a mound visit, a quick mound visit. Adam Holmes gains.
Here's the
Back
first
at
pitch.
Manbeck.
Wild yet again. Eli's going to steal third. Wilson's going to go for second. Lindsey will hold his ground at home plate still.
Now 2 runners in scoring position.
Yep.
With that. And you saw Lindsey was trying to bunt, too. And he was trying to get both of them in scoring position, which we saw a lot last night. Now you don't need to bunt.
Yeah. 1-0 count here for Lindsey. Runners on second and third. 1 out.
Yep, Lindsey on the 1-0.
Holmes gains.
That one
Wild
almost hit him
pitch.
in the head. Almost hit him in the head. And did it hit him, actually?
Yes,
they're going
it
to
did.
They're going to say it hit him.
Now it's going to be bases loaded at the top of the order for the Rocks.
He's tapping the top of his helmet. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Bases loaded with the top of the order, as there's going to be a little mound visit with Adam Holmes gains. Rocks up 4-1.
And like I said, it could get ugly real quick, and it has, because the command has not been there for Adam Holmes gains.
Rocks up 4-1 in the bottom of the fourth. A lot of talking going on. We'll head to a break. Rocks 4, Bears 1. You're watching the Westfield Sports Network.
And after that very short break, we are back with Braden Hibbler up to bat.
Top of the order, bases loaded. Things can get a little out of hand here for the Bears. And Holmes gains.
Braden Hibbler with 7 RBIs on the season. That one is high yet again. 1-0 count. 7 RBIs. Can Hibbler add more to that count? We will see.
Here's the pitch.
That one
Way
is in the dirt.
2-0 count.
And luckily, though, for Lawrence Central, Nick Keltner, the catcher, made a good attempt for once to actually block that pitch.
Now
So,
in baseball,
2-0 count.
if there's ever such thing as a jam, this is it.
Yep, this is it. 2-0 count. A swing and a miss for Hibbler. I did say he had good plate discipline going into his second at-bat, and so far in this at-bat, he's looking to get more aggressive with the bases loaded.
2-1 count with 1 out. Bases loaded. Here's the pitch.
2-1
Way
count.
outside. 3-1 count now.
3-1 count. If Hibbler is walked, then a run will score, and it will be Eli Manbeck with Rudolph on deck.
Here's the pitch. Adam Holmes gains.
That one's
It'll
going to be right
definitely
by
be
his
a
arm.
ball.
That will definitely be a ball, and that will bring in Eli Manbeck to make it a 5-1 ball game for the Westfield Shamrocks. And that almost hit Hibbler on the arm, too.
Yeah. Now it's Alex Rudolph, the junior, up to bat. Alex Rudolph is 0 for 1 with a strikeout today in his 1 at bat. Here's the pitch.
Rudolph. And he's going to hit that one into
It'll be
left field and
far
fouled off.
to the left.
Yeah, far off to the left. 0-1 count. That ball is going to be outside, and Ian Wilson was pretty far off of the base on third base, and
noticed
the
that.
catcher Keltner kind of scared him a bit.
We haven't seen a pickoff attempt in a while, which is what we saw a lot of early in this game.
That ball is going to be high. Obviously, really, you can't do that now with the bases loaded, because if someone were to steal a base, you really can't unless you're trying to steal home. So even count.
2-1 count with 1 out, bases loaded. Alex Rudolph up at bat. Here's the pitch.
Way outside.
Outside and high there.
And could yet another run be coming in for Westfield off of a walk? It could be the case.
We'll see right here with this pitch.
Holmes gains on the 3-1 pitch, and that one is going to be hit into right field shallow, and it looks like a run will score. Ian Wilson will score on that and make it a 6-1 ball game.
Grounded out straight to the first baseman. They tried to go for the double play. Got second base out, but Alex Rudolph was able to make it to first. So now there's a runner on first and third. Now it's 6-1 with 2 outs. Holmes gains one step closer to getting out of this jam.
Colin Lindsay with his younger brother Caden on third base. He could drive in his younger brother. That would be something to see.
Entner, what's a meeting?
Apparently not.
Never mind. Colin Lindsay is 1 for 1 with an RBI today so far.
I believe he also walked too.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be fouled off.
Tipped that one off the tip of his bat, straight behind him.
And that ball was kind of close to our microphone where it's at. Maybe you heard that ball hitting the edge. Maybe you didn't. And you did not actually hear that, so never mind. 0-1 count. That one just a little bit too high.
1-1 count now with 2 outs, runners on first and third.
Lindsay with 2 outs, 1-1 pitch.
Here it is.
That one is going to be allowing yet another run. Caden Lindsay is going to make it home on a wild pitch, and the runners will advance to second base. I mean, talk about a jam just getting even worse. A 7-1 ball game for Westfield.
Alex Rudolph is now at second base. No other runners on for Westfield right now.
Even count 2-1. This is quite the jam if I've ever seen one. And that almost hit Lindsay too.
Too high.
3-1
Make that a 3-1 count. 2 outs.
Pitch coming. And that one is going to be dropped by Keltner. And that will be a walk for Lindsay.
Take a walk. And now it's Evan Russ now up to bat. Or Matt Droslick, rather, maybe. No, it'll be Evan Russ.
Evan Russ still looking for his first hit tonight, but knowing him, that could change.
Yeah, 0 for 2 tonight to start out this game.
2 outs with a man on second and a man on first.
Here's the first pitch.
Yeah, first pitch, 2 outs. Rudolph on second. He has a big lead, and that one's going to be
strike down the middle.
Finally, a strike down the middle too, might I add. Second pitch, Holmes gains, and that's going to be swung and fouled off by Russ.
Oh, 2 count now for Russ.
And Holmes gains is 1 strike away from escaping this nightmare. Well, not really escaping because you've allowed 3 runs. 0-2 count, and that one is going to be hit into center field, and it will be caught. And that will end the inning. Ahmad Duff ending the inning, and the Westfield Shamrocks take a big lead going into the 5th inning. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back. Nathan Bodenberg is still out there for the Westfield Shamrocks, and he is having quite the outing so far with one strikeout in 1 innings pitched, 0 walks, 0 hits. How can Bodenberg continue his dominance?
Just keep doing what he's doing. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's been perfect so far. Obviously, not allowing a single run or hit maybe so far this game in his performance. I don't think he's allowed a hit, so if he keeps it up, Westwood will be in no trouble taking this one from the Bears.
Now batting for Lawrence Central, number 13.
Nick Johnson, the center fielder, is heading to the bullpen. We might see him next.
Obviously, Holmes Gaines was not getting it done for the Bears, as we saw last inning.
Bodenberg, a swing and a miss. Absolutely nasty pitch by Bodenberg.
0-1 count.
Nick Johnson has a 21 ERA this season, by the way, so 1-1 count now after that ball. So Nick Johnson, not the best option. He has the highest ERA on the team with 4 appearances.
Bodenberg with the pitch, 1-1, straight down the middle. Make it 1-2.
I mean, Bodenberg absolutely dealing tonight so far. 1-2 count, and now on the 1-2 pitch, Bodenberg. That one is going to be dropped by Ohm. And a couple of the guys are heading to the bullpen for Westfield. It looks like Tyler Gentry is heading to the bullpen. 2-2 pitch for Westfield, Bodenberg. And that one's going to drive in for a strike. Strike 3, and that down goes Deem for his second strikeout. Deem's second strikeout. Now Avery Jennings, the pitcher, is back out there. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Bodenberg struck him out earlier.
Now batting number 23, Avery Jennings.
Jennings still looking for his first hit on the season. Bodenberg first pitch, swing and a miss on the fastball. Nasty pitch by Bodenberg.
He's just going to have to keep doing that, and Westfield should get out of here with no problem.
With no problem, I agree. 0-1 count, Bodenberg, 1 out. That one's in the dirt. Luckily, nobody on base. 1-1 count.
Here's the 1-1 count. 1 out, no runners on base. Bodenberg with the pitch.
And that one's
right down the middle.
Right down the middle for Bodenberg. The fastball, it's hidden. The location has been there, and Bodenberg, he should definitely be, only with 1 appearance so far in the season, he should be a solid part of this rotation now. 1-2 count, and he got him. The second strikeout of this inning. Nathan Bodenberg dealing.
Strikes from Bodenberg to send Deem right back to the dugout as Jordan Aaron trots on up to the dish. 0-1.
Jordan Aaron 0 for 1. Aaron 0 for 1 on the day, 2 outs. Bodenberg right down the middle.
3 straight cold strikes for the junior Nathan Bodenberg.
Bodenberg 0-1 count. And a swing and a miss.
Another one.
Swing and a miss for Bodenberg.
Bodenberg is putting on a show so far.
Bodenberg on the 0-2, 2 outs. Can he strike him out? Yes, he will! Nathan Bodenberg, 3 strikeouts in the inning, and Westfield continues their dominance. 7-1 lead. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. Yep, Nick Johnson's pitching. And we are back, and a pitching change. Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson making his 5th appearance of the season for Lawrence Central, and a 21 ERA, which is terrible if you don't know much about baseball statistics. A 21 ERA is absolutely awful, but Matt Drozlik is back up to the plate. And an interesting stat for Lawrence Central, they have made an error in every game this season except for one, and it was the one game they've won this season. I mean, wow.
So basically,
And they've made some errors tonight too, so I think this maybe secures a Westfield win. Maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. It's a 6-run ball game, 7-1 lead for Westfield. Matt Drozlik, he was hit by a pitch earlier in the game. How can Nick Johnson possibly get his team out of this pickle they're in and avoid putting runs on the board? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. How can
sorry.
how can Nick Johnson avoid putting any runs on the board for Lawrence Central?
It's going to be tough because he statistically is the worst pitcher on this team with a 21 ERA, and with how much firepower this batting order has right now with Drozlik and then Ty Anderson coming up, it's going to be hard to contain those batters from getting hits. It'll be interesting to see if the Rocks can adjust to this different pitcher and if it'll be better or worse for Lawrence Central.
And also a change here. The starting pitcher, Avery Jennings, is going out to right field too. But you said it very bluntly. Nick Johnson is the worst pitcher on this team statistically. Drozlik, the power hitter. Let's see what he can do against Johnson. We saw in the warm-up pitches with Nick Johnson, he was not looking good, could not find the zone to save his life, but let's see what he can do in actual game action. The first pitch for Johnson, that was a off-speed in the dirt.
1-0 count, sorry. Matt Drozlik so far today.
1-0 count, and that one's in the dirt, a wild pitch. We saw plenty of those in the warm-ups. Like I said with Adam Holmes' Gaines, this could get out of hand really quickly. Very quickly. And that one almost hit Drozlik, and that's going to be a 3-0 count.
3-0 count now. Drozlik one pitch away from heading to first.
Johnson on the 3-0. That one's in the zone, strike one on the off speed. Johnson, 3-1. That one's outside. Drozlik will take a walk to first base.
Drozlik knew it was a ball before he even had to look back to the umpire there. That one was outside. I wouldn't say it was way outside. It was kind of close to the zone, actually, but it was a ball.
And Ty Anderson is 1 for 1 on the day so far. Let's see what he can do in this at-bat. First pitch, that's going to be slightly outside, a little bit too high, 1-0 count.
Runner on first and Matt Drozlik.
And they're going to keep Drozlik out there yet again. No Drew Law. And they're going to give that to Johnson in the zone, 1-1 count. That one's going to be outside yet again for Johnson. Johnson, the center fielder, one of the better hitters for Lawrence Central, but pitching-wise, not so good. 2-1 even count. Johnson, that almost hit Anderson in a wild pitch. And Drozlik is going to walk right to second base. He hesitated a little bit, which is something you never want to do as a base runner. And he's got quite the lead off of second, too. There's a bit of miscommunication, too.
What is going on with the ball?
As Drozlik did hesitate for a second and just walked right over to second base. And now there is a stoppage in play on the 3-1 count.
I wonder we can't really see what happened, but something happened with the ball that made Drozlik hesitate. They are going to give him second base, but not third.
And now a mound visit between Keltner and Johnson. And a 3-1 count for Ty Anderson. Still 0 outs and a man on second, which another stolen base for the Westfield Shamrocks. Westfield, they are 4-0 this season when they steal 4 or more bags in a game, including last night when they stole 4 bases. Now a discussion with Keltner and the umpire. Still no idea what's going on. And now a new ball will be out on the field. Drew Law came out of the umpire and brought out the new ball. And now play will finally resume, it seems like. 3-1 count currently.
Play will resume. 3-1 count. Runner on second. Matt Drozlik is that runner. Surprised he hasn't been subbed out for a pinch runner yet.
I mean, we said that earlier, but then he scored a run.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3-1 count, and that one is going to be hit in the center field. And will he make it to first base? Yes, he will.
Didn't find the gap, but the shortstop was a little too late on that one. And
yep, Duff just a little bit too late. Did not even attempt to make a throw, which was probably the right call. And now Ty Anderson is on first base, and that puts Drozlik on third base now with Nick Alm up to bat.
He has a strikeout and a walk today.
He's been all over the place, but let's see if he can pick up an RBI here. That one, they're going to give it to Johnson.
Strike by Johnson there. 0-1 count to start off this at-bat for Alm.
Johnson finally showing a little bit of velocity. 0-1 count. That one is going to be fouled off. It seems like there will be an effort, and that one will be fouled off, landed. The entire outfield, it seemed like, kind of made an effort at that.
Yeah.
Or I should just say the second baseman and the right fielder. 0-2 count. Nick Alm, he's a very patient hitter, so I don't expect him to take any big swings. And that one's in the dirt. Ball 1.
1-2 count. Runners on first and third for the Rocks. I think we're forgetting that we do have a runner in scoring position.
1-2 count, and it looks like Ty Anderson's going to take off, and he will make the second base. And error is committed.
Drozlik's going to make his way home. Anderson's going to go to third, and Alma's going to go to second.
And the chaos continues. An 8-1 lead for the Westfield Shamrocks. Yet another error is made by the Lawrence Central Bears, and this is not pretty.
What a series of events. Unlucky events for the Bears.
Unlucky events, lucky events for the Westfield Shamrocks. Nick Alm is going to be taken out as the pinch runner. And the next runner-up, it is to be determined, it seems like, as no one's come out. And there will be
no pinch hitter has been sent out yet.
And a change in the lineup. A new first baseman is coming out for Lawrence Central. Ian Wilson back up to bat. That one is in the dirt yet again. 1-0 count. Anderson on third.
That one's going to find the gap there.
Would you look at that? Another RBI. Ian Wilson is going to bring Tyler Anderson home, and that makes it a 9-1 ball game with Caden Lindsay up to bat. An RBI single for Ian Wilson.
Rowan, in your opinion, is this game over yet?
I'll never say a game's over before it's over, but it's not looking too good for Lawrence Central. Caden Lindsay, He walked and was hit by a pitch, and another wild pitch, and Ian Wilson will take second base.
Wow.
Would you look at that? That looked like the third or fourth wild pitch of this inning. I mean, Johnson, he cannot find the strike zone. 0 outs, and he's already allowed 2 runs.
Westfield has opened the floodgates these past couple innings here.
Caden Lindsay is going to try and bunt, went over his head. 3-0 count.
What's up, Nick?
That 21 ERA might be going up for Johnson. Another bunt, and that one's
be
going to
a
be
little-
caught by Johnson.
Little bunt fly. It's going to be caught by the pitcher, Nick Johnson, and 1 out.
And finally, the first out, I should say.
5 runs in the last 2 innings for the Rocks.
But that does mean the top of the order is back up. Braden Hibbler, who had an RBI earlier and has walked twice. Still a man on second. That one's going to be outside slightly.
You could make an argument for a strike there, but it did look a little bit outside the zone.
To me, that was just good framework by Keltner. Second pitch. They're going to give that to Johnson.
And Braden Hibbler, all he could do was stare at that pitch as it hit the pitcher's glove inside the zone there.
Yeah, finally, the velocity pitches are starting to land with Johnson. 0-1 count. That one also a little bit too high. They're not going to give it to him, though, obviously. 1-1 count. Hibbler. That one is going to be another
high.
ball. A little bit too high.
And this umpire is not being too generous tonight.
If that strike zone is shrinking by the batter. 2-2 count. And that ball is going to be crushed into left field, and it's going to be fouled off and not caught. It's going to land foul.
Ian Wilson was kind of hoping for that ball to be caught just so he could run to home base there to bring another one home for the Rocks.
I mean, still, but in that situation, you have 2 outs, and Braden Hibbler, you could tell he kind of wants that swing back with the look on his face.
Yeah.
3-2 count, full count. Can Johnson get his first strikeout? Now, the 2 words of Nick Johnson and strikeout in the same sentence are very rare to be together, but let's see what happens. 3-2 pitch, and that is going to be over the head of Hibbler, and Hibbler will walk, just like I said.
Only 1 out and runners on first and second. Could there be more for the Rocks here?
And Eli Manbeck is out there to bat. He is a pinch hitter in for Alex Rudolph. Kind of makes you wonder, did anything happen to Alex Rudolph that we do not know about? And Manbeck is going to crush this one into center field, and that is going to bring in a run. And that is going to allow a man on third base, Braden Hibbler, an RBI double for Eli Manbeck.
Wow. As he didn't get much height on that ball. It was a powerful ground hit straight into deep center field. And that brings home yet another run for the Rocks. Make the score 10-1 now.
A 10-1 ball game. Nick Johnson, he has given up 3 earned runs. Colin Lindsay back up to bat, and a swing and a miss for Colin Lindsay. 2 runners in scoring position. Braden Hibbler. And that ball is going to be crushed into left field.
Will this one drop?
And it will be caught to end the inning as Westfield takes a 9-run lead in this inning, and Westfield a 10-1 lead. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back, and a pitching change. Ian Wilson is on the mound. He has an ERA of 7 on the year so far. Why do you think they took Nathan Bodenberg out?
I just think it's just a matter of fresh arms.
I
He had
agree.
a great performance, allowing, I don't think, any hits and obviously no runs. But Benel obviously wants to freshen up the arms. They have a deep pitching lineup for a reason, and I think this is the time to send Ian Wilson out to maybe potentially close this one out.
I totally agree, considering that this game is pretty much all but said and done. And now it looks like it's going to be Nick Johnson up to bat, and we saw him give up 3 runs as a pitcher. Let's see what he can do on the mound hitting, and that one is going to be a strike.
Great pitch there by Ian Wilson. Straight in the middle of the zone.
If you remember, Johnson was hit in the head by a pitch earlier. 0-1 count, Wilson. That ball is going to be hit to third base, and Johnson is going to have a single. Tyler Gentry took over third base, and Gentry just missed that ball. That makes it an 0-1 count. No, wait. Ahmad Duff is up to bat, the shortstop. He struck out earlier in this game. 0 outs still, I should say. Nick Johnson with a heavy lead off of first, and that ball is going to be fouled off into left field. Ahmad Duff, he's been the best hitter for this Lawrence Central team all season, but he is yet to make his mark on this game tonight. How do you think he can do that against Wilson?
It'll be tough. Already down 0-1 in the count.
And Johnson's going to take off, and he will make a leap to second, and he will make it there.
Safe. Now there's a runner on second base, and now you can tell that Lawrence Central is starting to get a little bit more aggressive with their base running tonight. You're late in this one.
Maybe a little bit too late. 0-1 count. Johnson yet again with a heavy lead, and that is going to be in the dirt ball. 1-1 count. I mean, Ahmad Duff coming into this game, a 400 hitter. I mean, yet to make his mark tonight. Goes to show how great the Westfield pitching has been tonight. And that one, not to the umpire's liking. I really don't get that call. 2-1 count.
It did look like a strike from up here.
From up here, that's the key word. Of course, that umpire has a way better view than us. Even count. 2-1. Johnson's going to take off. He's going to make a throw to third, and the ball is out of the glove of Gentry, and Johnson's going to make it to third base.
And Johnson almost got hit in the helmet for the second time tonight in the same exact spot.
And Duff will make it to first base on that hit. And now it's Michael Wise.
Runners on first and third for the Bears with
Bears
no
right fielder
outs.
number 10,
It's
Michael
getting
Wise.
a little dangerous for the Rocks, even though they have a 10-1 lead.
Yeah, I was going to say Ian Wilson has quite the run support so far in this game. Up 9 runs. Something to notice with Ian Wilson, his pitching stance before, and it looks like Wise is going to try and bunt. And now a stolen base attempt for Duff. Did he make it there? Yes, he did.
So now runners on second and third now.
But something I was going to say before I was interrupted by the play, Ian Wilson, he has like a pitching form before he throws his pitches where he leans down, kind of like Craig Kimbrell, an iconic closer. 0-1 count, 0 outs, 2 men in scoring position. Wilson right by the legs of Wise, 1-1 count. Still 0 outs with 2 men on base in scoring position. Wilson, that one is going to be fouled off. 1-2 count. That ball had some heat on it, I will say. The fastball, a little bit too high to swing at, but it is fouled off.
And Ian Wilson needs this strike. The count is 1-2 with runners on second and third. No outs in this inning yet.
Wilson on the 1-2, and that ball a little bit too low. 2-2 count. Ian Wilson, not the best start, but we've seen it before this season, all season with pitchers, of escaping jams with Westfield. We saw it with Nicholson yesterday, and we saw it with Tam, too, earlier today. So can Ian Wilson escape the jam? 2-2 count. 2 men in scoring position, 0 outs.
Here's the pitch.
And he got him. He got him.
That'll be the first out for this inning.
Ian Wilson, the first strikeout of the game.
Now a pinch hitter, I believe, up for Lawrence Central.
Aiden Duncan to the plate for Lawrence Central.
Aiden Duncan, who is actually not on the roster sheet, too. That's why we kind of hesitated. First pitch, a swing and a miss. That is why he is not in the batting order.
Wow.
That was harsh. 0-1 count, 1 out. Wilson, did he check his swing? Yes, he did. 0-2 count.
0-2 count, and all of a sudden Wilson looking promising to get out of this second and third runner jam.
0-2 count. Wilson, he got him, swing and a miss. 3 pitches, he got him.
2 outs now, and all of a sudden this promising inning for the Bears.
Not so promising
Not
anymore.
so promising anymore.
Go, Nick.
Bears catcher Nick Keltner.
Nick Keltner back out there for probably his final at-bat of the game. That pitch a little bit too high, ball 1. Keltner still without a hit in this game. He did walk. 1-0 count, 2 outs. That ball yet again too high.
1-0 count.
But Wilson finding his groove. He is only 1 out away, trying to escape this jam with 2 runners in scoring position. That one in is
Strike
Yep,
one.
yep, strike 1. You
It
kind
did
of
look like strike 3, though.
You kind of second guess yourself too, considering the umpire, his slow arm movements, very slow arm movements,
It
which
looks like a strike 3 from the umpire.
2-1 count. That one's going to be fouled off.
Right over the press box, I believe.
Yep, 2-2 count. 2 outs, and Ian Wilson, just like that, is 1 strike away from retiring the side.
2-2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Ian Wilson on the 2-2 pitch. He got him!
Wow.
And that will retire the side. Ian Wilson, 3 strikeouts. And Westfield is looking to possibly close this out, bottom of the 6th. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back with the bottom of the 6th. Nick Johnson still out there for Lawrence Central despite giving up 3 runs in his last inning of play. And these warm-up pitches so far, that one was a wild pitch in the warm-up pitches. But also something to note with Lawrence Central, only 2 hits on the night tonight, both from the 2 hitters at the top of the order, Nick Johnson and Ahmad Duff.
Very telling.
And some woman just came into the press box and said, "Free hot dogs," which I'm sure most of you people listening are not at the game, but you might want to head over here.
What I was saying is the
Fouled
only
off.
2 batters to get hits are the first 2 in the order. I was saying that just shows how not deep this batting order is for Lawrence Central.
Not deep is the perfect phrase for that 0-1 count. That one in the zone. Strike 2 on the off speed. Oh, 2 pitch, Johnson. That one's going to be fouled off, and Russ is going to actually run it out as if it were
Very
a fair
smart
ball.
play.
And did he actually make it to first base?
Very smart play by
Yes,
Russ.
he did. Wow.
Not a strong start for Johnson and the Bears on this one.
That looked fouled off, but apparently it was a fair ball. It
And
must have gone
Drozlik.
off of the catcher's glove and then fouled off, but not fouled off. Anyway, Drozlik. That's the first hit of the night for Russ, by the way. 0 outs, Russ on first. That one way outside. 1-0 pitch. Count.
That
That ball's
is
going to be
dinged in
hit in the center field.
Not center field. It looked a lot longer than that, but it's just in the infield. Michael Wise is there to make the catch. Make it 1 out.
Yep, 1 out. And now Ty Anderson is back up to bat. 2 hits on the day so far for Anderson. And actually, would you look at that? Ty Anderson is not in this game, as if maybe he might be warming up to pitch, but we don't see him in the bullpen.
Now batting, Ben Wasserstrom.
It's Ben Wasserstrom. We have not seen him in the past few games. Maybe just to give Ty Anderson a rest, 1-0 count. Maybe just to rest him because this game is all but said and done. And that ball is going to be grounded to the pitcher, and it will be a ground out at first base. But Russ will advance to second base with 2 outs.
2 outs now as Nick Alm is headed to the plate. Nick Alm tonight has been all right.
Yep,
1
for
strikeout, 1 walk.
Nick Alm looking for his first hit. That one will drop in and not a strike apparently. 1-0 count. Runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Johnson. And that one hit Alm.
Alm is going to take his second walk of the game. As on trots Ian Wilson up to the dish, who's been pitching the last inning.
Ian Wilson having quite the day. Two hits and an RBI. So quite the day for Ian Wilson. Can he make it 3 hits, which would be his second 3-hit game since the Cathedral game, which was his last 3-hit game. And we have an injury to maybe report. It seems like Nick Keltner, the catcher, is holding his neck. And he was kneeling down quite a bit, and now the manager is going to walk out, and we might see a replacement at catcher. If he's holding his neck. They're going to give him a drink of water, and will he stay out there?
Signaling that it hit him in the neck. The ball hit him in the neck.
And he's going to stay out there. And he seems pretty angry as, of course, his neck is in pain and his team is down 9 runs. I mean, what is there not to be angry about? Ian Wilson coming off a pitching appearance where he gave up 2 hits, where he gave up a hit actually, but struck out 3. So talk about a way to recover from Ian Wilson. Man in scoring position, and Wilson's going to duck on that one, 1-0 count. A walk here would mean the bases would be loaded. 1-0 count, that one in the dirt, and the runners will advance. Evan Russ and Nick Alm both in scoring position.
One on second, one on third. The count is still only 2-0. There are 2 outs though.
Nick Johnson in quite the jam, but he has not given up a run so far in this inning. Let's see if it stays that way. And Wilson is going to hit this ball shallow in the infield. And that will be caught by Deem. But a runner will score. Actually, that will be the end of the inning. Never mind, that was 2 outs. So that will end the inning. Going into the top of the 7th, the Westfield Shamrocks look to close this one out. You are watching the Westfield Sports Network. And we are back with more than likely the final half inning of action with Braden Hibbler is coming out to pitch for Westfield. Only 2 appearances on the year, but a 5.25 ERA. How do you expect him to fare against this Lawrence Central offense?
Well, this Lawrence Central offense has been very lackluster this game. Haven't been able to really hit the ball. Only 2 hits total for them this game. So Braden Hibbler, as much of a good pitcher as he is, I feel like he should have no problem putting this one away. The Rocks are on offense on the bottom of the inning, so if all goes well for Westfield, this should be the last side of the game.
Things would have to go extremely wrong for this to not be the last side of the inning. I mean, if this was an 11-1 ball game, then this would be a mercy rule. This game would be over already. So 10-1 ball game. Braden Hibbler looking good in the warm-up pitches.
What's actually funny is before the game, whenever we wrote down our score predictions, I did have 10-1 written down, but then I erased it for 12-4.
Did you really?
Yep.
I smell cap on that one.
No, I'm being dead serious.
I will have to go through the edit history on this Google Doc. Let's actually go.
And you'll find
version history, all versions. Come on. As we were scrolling down, we were trying to find this. He had 10-1, but he erased it for his score prediction. And would you look at that? He actually did 10-1.
Yep. Kind of mad I switched that now as Braden Hibbler pitches that one a little bit too high. Ball 1.
A little bit too high. Let's see if Hibbler, how his fastball will look. That should be something to note.
Strike 1.
That will be interesting. Strike 1.
Ball 1, strike 1.
Like I said, I wonder how that fastball will look. And they swing and a miss. Nasty pitch by Braden Hibbler on the fastball. 1-2 count.
This could put the first out away for the Rocks here. 1 out closer to sending the Bears home.
1-2 count. That one is fouled off.
Fouled
and
off.
I know you all heard that as it hit the fence, and it was right by our heads. in the press box.
That has got to be the 5th or 6th ball tonight that has almost hit us. If
By
the
the
fence
sound,
wasn't there.
by the sound of your voice, it sounds like it gave you a heart attack.
A little bit.
2 count.
There he is.
They're going to give it to him, even though it looked a little bit outside, but still, Westfield 2 outs away from ending this thing.
I can't tell if they got him the strike for the zone where the pitch was or the check swing. But
anyway, the third baseman Connor Deem is back up to bat. He has struck out 2 times. Let's see if it will be a 3rd time.
Bears number 13, Connor Dean.
strike 1 made him swing. 0-1 count with 1 out.
Connor Deem, not the most disciplined hitter, but we've seen that in this game, and nothing has changed so far. And that one, not in the zone, really. I thought that was in. 1-1 count.
1-1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here. No runners on bases. Braden Hibbler
swing and a miss.
Strike. Swing and a miss there
Holy
on
strike.
Deem.
1-2 count. Hibbler is 4 strikes away from ending this in total, and they swing and a miss. Braden Hibbler.
2 straight strikeouts for the junior. Braden Hibbler is 1 strikeout away from sending us all home. It's 10-1. It's the top of the 7th. Rocks up.
And the
in this
starting
one.
pitcher, Avery Jennings, is back up to bat. And we saw him in right field earlier, and he is yet to have his first hit of the season. Our PA announcer said stand up, so that means stand up. A swing and a
Strike
miss
1.
for Hibbler.
0-1 count with 2 outs. 2 strikes away from ending this game.
2 outs, 0-1 pitch. Braden Hibbler, 2 strikes away, like you said, from ending this ball game.
You can't change the batting lineup. He batted last time, so he's been batting. This is his second bat this game.
Here's the pitch for Hibbler.
0-1 count, and that one will be fouled off. Now 1 strike away to end this ball game.
0-2 count with 2 outs. No
Avery
runners on
Jennings.
any bases. You can tell this one is obviously over.
Yep, the team is standing up there ready to celebrate this win and get their 4th straight win of the season.
Braden Hibbler for the
0-2
win.
pitch, and
See
that
ya
will do
later.
it. Swing and miss. And Braden Hibbler, 3 strikeouts in the final inning, and the Westfield Shamrocks advance to 8-5 on the season with a 10-1 victory.
Rocks with a pounding 10-1 victory at home over the 1-10 now Lawrence Central Bears. This is Rowan Elbert and Ada McNally. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Good night, Westfield.